again. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna do the what up again. That'd be really that'd be.
Yeah.
It says live for 8 seconds. I think that might be live. Hey everybody, welcome to the Packaging Today show. I am Adam Peak, host of the People Packaging Podcast, and I'm joined by
Cory Connors, host of the Sustainable Packaging Podcast. Welcome everybody.
Yeah, today is Wednesday, February 26th, and our resident AI expert is not joining us, and so we thought, let's play around with ChatGPT. I want to give credit to my friend Sia Mali, Siya Mali. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. He has been teaching me a ton about ChatGPT and Perplexity, and my brain is spinning. So we're going to do some fun things here on the show. Let's get going. All right, hey, if you are joining us today, if you're joining us today, drop a comment, ask some questions. We are going to be sort of live going through ChatGPT. I've been asking it some packaging questions over the last few days, and my head is spinning on the types of things that this can do. Cory, how you were mentioning that you got a little bit of experience with ChatGPT when you were over in Japan?
Japan. Yeah. Chris and I used it all the time to figure out the best route, what to do for the day, the best trains to take, how to buy tickets for these trains, and it never steered us wrong. It was incredible, even giving advice on where to eat and what to do. Several options. We would scroll through and it would say, just asking it, hey, what should we do for a day in Kyoto, Japan, and what are the top 5 sites to see and the best route to use, and it planned our whole day for us. It was an incredible. It was like having a personal assistant there, and it really worked well too. It was very accurate.
And so I've been learning all about, like, there's different models within ChatGPT. There's this thing called deep research, and I want to show what that was. That takes a little bit of time, but it's got some cool stuff. So I'll pull up right here. So I've been just kind of messing around with things to just try to figure stuff out. So one was like, how much does a label cost? And so I found just like an old quote. It was a really old quote. So none of these numbers are actually accurate or matter, but I wanted to use it for just the purposes of showing what this is. And I just uploaded it as a PDF. And then I said, assume material costs are 50% of the total sales price. Analyze this quote to determine the material cost at each quantity. So in 15 seconds, it read the PDF and reasoned this and found the material cost. And then I said, analyze this quote and use the material cost to find the MSI cost of the material. It didn't really know what MSI meant. And so I got through here and I said, MSI means per 1,000 square inches in label printing. Please redo to find the MSI cost. So it calculates the area of the label. So it did all of this in a matter of seconds. And then it determines the material MSI cost for this material. And then I said, use this MSI pricing to create a label quote for 150,000 labels, size 2.75 by 6 on this same material. So these are the 3 prompts that I've done so far. And in 33 seconds, it computed the label area, the total area of the labels. It determined the MSI pricing based on, the only one we had was 1 million labels, and it was 1.5-inch circle. Calculates the total price, presents the quote. And then I said, what is it as a price per label? And it comes out to roughly 2.37 cents per label. That whole thing took me a couple of minutes, which was like a mind-blowing thing for me. Now, there's probably people who, maybe if you're listening, you're like, yeah, I've known it could do that for years. Well, great, good for you. But Cory, had you ever thought about using ChatGPT for stuff like this?
No. And I think we hear about it a lot. older people like me and some in the industry, I would consider myself kind of middle-aged, if you will.
Yeah, me
And
too.
I think we need to embrace this technology. It's not, I don't think it's going to replace people in the next 6 months or a year, but it's going to make the people that know how to use it so much more valuable.
Yeah.
Now there are some caveats here that we need to discuss. We haven't checked this for accuracy. We haven't
No.
confirmed that all of the numbers are perfect. But it will provide you with ideas. It will provide you with basics and sometimes very
Well,
detailed things
I would
that
say
are very valuable.
I would say this though, Cory. So the thing that I've learned, so I have a paid chat GPT,
Hmm.
and what I can do, and I haven't done this yet, but what I can do is I can train it. So
Hmm.
if I'm a company, I can say this is my MSI cost per
Yep.
label. This is what it is for this material. This is what it is for this material. It is updated. Please update, to this MSI. Whatever it is, like I can teach it so that it's specific to me, not just
Right.
going. So I wanted to show you this one as well, because this is like a general query into the internet using deep research, and this took about 10 minutes to generate. But I thought
Okay.
it was important to kind of show some of the power. So I said, I need 10, let's see here. What is it? What is the current paperboard cost for a 28 by 40 sheet of 20 point SBS in the USA? It gave me a very quick answer, and it said $292 per sheet. And I said, let's take a deeper look and see if we can get a better market rate. And I said, okay, fine. I need 10,000 sheets I picked Minneapolis, coated one side. And so it took 17 minutes. It went through 23 sources and came up. This was the deep research feature down here.
Incredible.
It looked through all these websites, just combed through a ton of data, right? Anchor Paper, Mill City Paper, Veritiv Corp, Midland Paper, Roosevelt Paper, other sources, did a bulk comparison. You can see this is all the stuff that it gave me, right? Shipping costs, and then you get down here to the bottom. You can get competitive quotes,
Hmm.
and it told me, here's the summary, right? It's probably going to be roughly 35 cents per sheet on average,
Amazing.
per paper. And so there's, if you wanted to get this information, how long would that have taken you to go through and find all these websites, read through all the websites? Like, it did
Right.
this in 17 minutes and it came up with a summary comparison for me on how much on average a sheet of paper may cost. Now, to your point, Cory, I haven't verified it, and that's the hard part about this
Right.
type of information. But I could verify it. I could go to the purchasing manager, Carrie Figueroa at Myers, who buys paper all the time, and say, "Hey, Carrie, does this check out? Does this pass the sniff test?"
Right.
Right? Like, we're gonna have to do that a while, I think, with this stuff. But
Yes. Yeah, there's going to be some reality checks here, and I think. But imagine if all of your specifications were in a system
yes,
that had all of your data and had all of your details and real numbers and real quantities, and you could push a button and get a quote like this in minutes.
hmm
Wouldn't that be incredible?
and you got to imagine that's what like companies like SpecRite are actually kind of,
Exactly.
aiming for, right? It's like it went once, as you as a company, once you were able to control that data, if you're a buyer of this stuff,
Hmm.
you could actually, and I don't think the future is very far off where up to the second what
Right.
your material, how much your stuff is going to cost based on the quantity, right? Like, because if you can train the model, then you can and you have the data, you can do a whole lot. One last thing I wanted to show, because I thought this was actually kind of another cool thing, is I snapped a photo right here of this. It's a Premier protein. It has a unzip me for recycling, right? I
Nice.
just snapped a photo with my phone. I have the Chat GPT app. I said, what type of packaging is this? It says this is a plastic tub. The shrink sleeve label gives me some of the things. I said, why should the label be removed before recycling? And it gives me a whole reason why I should take that off, right? Contamination risks, optical sorting issues. There's different plastic types. The shrink sleeve is going to be PVC or PETG, and it's going to improve recycling. So that was a really simple use case for like sustainability, where I just had a picture on my phone.
Right.
This is what John Gregory, thanks for joining us, John. ChatGPT can do what specialized systems do at a far lower cost and potentially do it faster. I'm finding that to be quite true.
The cost savings potential here is incredible. It's going to change the way we do business. It's changing. It's already changed the way we do business globally, and the way people interact with each other and with their environment. It's changing everything.
It feels like Google on steroids to me, because I can be way more conversational.
Yeah.
And it's intuitive, right? So you saw in that one thing, it's like, yeah, but okay, fine. I need 10,000 sheets in Minneapolis coded one side. And it's like, okay, let me do all that research now.
Feels like you have a personal assistant, like Iron Man with Jarvis, like
it kind of feels like that a little bit.
Somebody's always working for you.
I mean, it created, honestly, like it created some very simple dielines for me quickly that are downloadable. So I could, if I'm at a customer's and they say, hey, I need this label dieline. I didn't try like an RSC dieline or something like that, but I would imagine what companies will begin to be able to do is upload, this is what an RSC looks like. This is what an HSC looks like. This is what a tuck top auto bottom looks like. And they can have the basic parameters, and very quickly ChatGPT will create dielines that you can just have on your phone, and you don't have to go back and forth like, hey, can you make this for me? I mean, just thinking through like all of these tasks that are very menial tasks for us to do as people, which hopefully, like you said, doesn't replace jobs, but allows us to do more productive tasks. And that
feels like a cobot. You've heard of that, where people are concerned with robots and automation, but this feels like a cobot. Like it's going to make people so much more efficient and so much better at their jobs, and stop them from having to do the menial tasks of calculating and guessing. Oh, how much is this? How much is that? How many of those should we buy? And what if you could put it in your system and say, when's the best time of year to buy this material?
Oh man.
When's because the market is lower in January because the holidays are over, and things like that. This is it's going to save companies millions, if not billions of dollars.
That is such a great point. That's crazy. Well, there's so much more to be done on this topic. I'm sure we'll have more. I learn from telling. So this is me, like I'm like 1 week into this and I'm already just like, oh my gosh, like and I've been using AI for like my podcast stuff and things like that. It's been super beneficial. But even Sia was telling me, he's like, you don't even have to manually do that anymore. He's like, you can use Zapier so that the minute your podcast is done recording, it can automatically upload it to Decipher to create the show notes and schedule it out on a Substack. I'm like, what? He's like, it can do all of those buttons that you keep pushing. It can do it. It can create the schedule and it can automate everything out. I'm like, oh my, I can't even. It's crazy. So shout out to Sia for expanding my mind a little bit on this. Cory, any last words for you today?
I think embrace this technology. I think we need to appreciate it and not be scared of it. I think it can be a helpful tool to use. It is a helpful tool to use.
Agreed. Bye, everybody.